sabotage, assassination, and espionage run deep in War Story. But does this game pack the punch it promises? Find out today on Legendary Tactics.
First of all, we want to thank Osprey Games
Osprey
for
Games.
sending us a review copy of this game.
It was awesome, yeah.
Now, Cax, you have the most experience with this game.
Yes.
So let's start off. What do you love about this?
There is a lot of mystery.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of secret envelopes to open.
Love that. That is
Yes.
That's a great thing.
There's another one in the game where it says do not open until you're told to open this, and it's like even beyond that. Like I'm halfway through scenario 3. I haven't had to open it yet. I'm like, what is in there? I want to know.
And once the game finishes, and you never get to open
right
it.
That's right.
So it gives you that legacy game kind of feel.
Yes.
Almost.
Yes, and there's 3 campaigns in the game. There's actually also a prequel, Scenario 0.
Which is print and play.
Which is the Jersey Spy print and play, and it'll be coming to print and play, yes.
Excellent.
And I would recommend, they say you can play them in any order, but there is a campaign, they call it the campaign game as you play it, and it does follow a bit of a storyline, so I'd recommend you do that.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
What did you guys think of the game?
I thought it was interesting. It's a nice little kind of World War II role-playing game where, you're doing these skill checks, but unlike a lot of other games where you do skill checks, you use the values on the cards, instead of trying to do maybe dice checks like you would in a lot of other games where this is the kind of scenario or and whatnot, and it seemed like you were saying a lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue.
Yep.
Definitely felt like I was in kind of like a pulpy kind of World War II kind of movie, or Indiana Jones kind of feel. But it was definitely wow, you're just flipping through, and there's a little bit to track. It's not too cumbersome. I was going through it. But you got to be on top of it, definitely.
Yeah.
And I do have to warn you. So scenario 1 is kind of a nice, gentle introduction, and there is some replayability because there's many paths you can take. But as you get further into the scenarios,
it gets harsh.
It's like you turn to this page and it says your agent just I'm just gonna make something up here, stepped in a landmine and is blown to bits. Get rid of anyone that's in this position. It's like, whoa!
Wow, okay.
Yeah. It's kind of things like that where it is dramatic and harsh.
Yes.
So the brilliance of that is it kind of catches you at the moments you least kind of think anything's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
So it does a really good job of that. I give that some full credit. It was really well put together.
Yeah, for me, the narrative is strong with this one. I think the story that it tells is very vivid. It's very well realized. I like the different characters, and I like the fact that there's no dice checks. With those other games, you roll the dice, maybe you get a modifier.
Yep.
But with this one, it's no, you can win every skill check if you have the skill and or the counters to spend.
Right.
Then you can do it. But of course, you're never going to have enough counters. You're never going to have enough skills.
Yeah.
And so you have to choose which battle you're going to win and so forth. But I thought the story was great. I think there's a lot to like. If you love any sort of narrative games, this is exactly
You're gonna love
that.
it.
Yes.
And the learning curve is very, very easy on it. So that's another real benefit to it. It's not hard. You can almost.
Oh well, we didn't even learn any
anything.
rules.
We sat down, we started playing it up. We fired it up. Yep.
Right.
There was not even no rules teach. It was literally just start, read, and play.
And I like the small footprint as well. This is something you can
very
set up
tiny.
in the corner of a kitchen table or whatever, and just have a lot of fun with it. So.
Which is nice because there's so many games now that are table hogs and massive, but this is very pared down. Even a lot of story-driven narrative games now, you think of a lot of games like something like Oathsworn, which is massive, this huge table presence. This kind of is okay, we're going to pare it down. We're just the necessary bits.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was a. Now, upside downside. What do you think? Was there anything on this game that maybe was a concern for you, or you thought, oh, maybe that's something that maybe could have
Zach, you go
reframed?
first.
Well, it's just the the biggest thing was for downsides is, again, it's and this is a complaint that a lot of these story-driven games get, is like, is there a real game there? Is there a game there? Is it more just like a narrative experience? And I definitely did feel that. It's less of a, if you're somebody who is more into narrative games, then this is definitely one.
Oh yes, this will knock it out of the park for that.
But if you're looking for a game, like a dudes on the map kind of thing, it's a little bit less of that.
Yeah.
Where you kind of have to be like, oh, I gotta go this many spaces and do it like that. That's not what this is going to be.
Yeah.
Now there can be a bit of strategy on where you place your guys. Like on the map here, we have that might bring up certain scenarios.
Some tactical bits, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's totally fluff. But just be aware of that.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that tactical piece is pretty important.
Yep.
Because as being your DM in the previous game, I really noticed you guys strategizing over your skill checks and making sure that you optimized on what you thought would be the most necessary skill. So I like that. I thought that was that's part. I enjoyed seeing that puzzling.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, the downside that I felt is the same downside I've felt since the days of the Choose Your Own Adventure books. Where the decisions are almost kind of arbitrary. You can do this, like we had a choice between the left door or the right door. I don't know. You just make a pick. There's no, like for me, and I think Zach's the same way. We love the strategy stuff where we're like making choices because it's the most intelligent decision, the smartest decision, the most optimal decision. And this game's not about that at all. It's just you're in it for the story. And that's totally fine. It's not particularly my type of game, but just because I feel like, well, I don't know, left door, right door, do we, attack this person? Do we let them run? Whatever. Like, it's just kind of, it feels just arbitrary. And I'm a kind of someone that likes to min-max, my
a little more than that.
And as that, it's more frustrating than anything.
but this might be more of a good beer and pretzels kind of game where you're at the table with a couple of guys and you have a couple drinks and you're just going through the experience. You're not trying to brain burning. It's just like, this is kind of like a fun jaunt through World War II-esque kind of stuff.
Good, like late Friday night type game where you don't have to want to think too much. You've had a long week and so forth. But Cax, you've had the most experience with the game. I know you have some downsides.
And Zach, I'm glad you mentioned having a few bubblies with the buddies, because if you're doing the reading, do not have any bubblies. Okay, that is the worst thing you could do. And the reason I say that is because one misstep of where you're supposed to be in the book and what paragraph you're to turn to is basically a death sentence for the game that you're playing. It is very difficult to track back to see where you were. I would highly recommend, if you are playing the game, to keep a running tally of your previous paragraphs. Because you're jumping everywhere in this booklet.
Yes.
Literally, we went from the front end to the back
end. It said turn to from paragraph 500 to 100.
And it'll be paragraph as in 2 sentences.
Yes.
And then turn to a
and
different
you can see how many paragraphs are on every single page. And it's all the same kind of text you're looking at. So you really, 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 and I had it happen in a previous game where I went to move a token and the book shut on me. Oh, well, darn.
Right? How do you find that after that?
But having that, at least then you can retrace, and you can, to go back to say the previous paragraph is great, but if that's still not far enough, then you need to go back a few turns, good luck. It's very, very difficult. So having some way to mitigate that, and I think my best scenario would be writing down at even just various points the paragraphs that you just finished.
And then you got a bit of a save game that way.
A bit of a save game, and I think that's one of its biggest hangups is that, and possibly replayability.
Yes.
You play through the scenario once. You probably get a second play if you really, if you lost badly at it and you want to tackle it one more time. But it does suffer from that a little bit.
Like if you're trying to find the base of the maquis and you find out where the base is, you may, choose a path that's like, oh, I'm going right there.
Right.
I don't know.
And then the storyline's over. But then you know what though? You put this on the shelf and you come back to it in 2 years and you don't remember anything.
Exactly.
And you replay it.
Yes,
so that is the brilliance of this game too. So
anyway, any other final thought? I mean, overall rating, like thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs in the middle. What do you guys think? You want to show? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs middle.
Yeah.
And reveal. Oh, two thumbs up in the middle.
As I said, it's not my type of game, but I appreciate it for what it is. And I think the narrative, if you love the narrative style games, like a Tales of the Arabian Nights type thing, you will love this.
And I really enjoyed it. I will. I'm just itching to finish up my halfway through scenario 3 and want to finish that up. So I had to record the paragraph I was on, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that why I gave thumbs middle is like, you know, like I said, I'm not a huge narrative game person, but I can see where this is like this would really excel in. I just think that sometimes with these kind of games, they can break and then really grind to a halt. And that did happen in our playthrough. Maybe if I had done a couple more playthroughs, then I would have been a little bit more positive. But like you said, like that can really grind your game to a halt, and then you're like, oh wait, guys, I gotta go. You know,
Do some flipping.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? If you love the storyline and you love the narrative,
I think there's a
game,
lot to like here for sure.
Yeah. 3 great scenarios to start, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to get out there
Get gaming
and be
legendary.